Let's understand. This is Sai Fanendra from SQL School, and today let's have a brief introduction towards MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence, that includes three major components: SQL Server Integration Services for ETL and data warehousing, SQL Server Analysis Services for big data analytics, and SQL Server Reporting Services, which is more into reporting, dashboarding activities. Let's do it carefully, step by step. I assure you complete practice orientation with sharing my knowledge with all the 17 years of technical expertise on this relevant technology. I need your support. On-time practice throughout the course is very much required. The sessions are very vast. It's completely into practice based, completely into practice orientation, but vast. Let's do it slowly, step by step. Let's understand what is MSBI. And for easy end-to-end integrations, we need to also understand what is Power BI, so that we can get them dwell together carefully. Let's understand the agenda items. First, we'll understand what is data, what are the different types of databases. We'll slowly understand what is BI, what is MSBI, and from there we'll understand, more importantly, why to go for MSBI, different advantages, main advantages of MSBI, different versions and editions and versions of Microsoft Business Intelligence. We'll do it carefully one by one. Next. Then finally, we'll understand about our course details, curriculum, the plans or the implementation types, the resume plan, like different ways to plan our resume with the kind of projects we get in our classes. Come on, let's do it carefully, step by step. First, we'll understand what is data, then slowly get into what is MSBI. We'll do it slowly one by one. A simple, straightforward concept. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to our notes on the screen. Let's go to our notes on the screen now. Let's see. First, what is data and what is database to start with? I assume we are very, very new to Microsoft Business Intelligence. Let's do it carefully from the scratch. First, data or information can be organized into something called as databases. Okay. Here, database, a platform to store any type of data, any amount of data. Types of database. There are four broad categories: OLTP, online transaction processing database, for live real-time data, like mainly for SQL developers would be involved in this database design, like live temperatures. OLAP, online analytical processing database, for data analysis and forecasts, like for example weather forecast. Then we have data warehouse to store old historical data, like for example past temperature data. and HTAP database like all-in-one. OLTP live plus OLAP analytics and forecast plus data warehouse, historical data, everything put together, HTAP database, all in one. From here comes SQL Server. It's a brand from Microsoft. It is a DBMS, database management system. A DBMS software from Microsoft to store OLTP, OLAP, data warehouse and HTAP databases plus additionally reports. And this is our actual job work as an MSBI professional or a BI engineer. Assume a live cricket match. The ball to ball score is OLTP and we see expected run rate, required run rate, current run rate, right? We see this kind of reports. That expected run rate is nothing but a forecast, right? It's a forecast, speculation. Accurate forecasts matter a lot. So there comes the concept of OLAP databases. The term OLAP refers to online analytical processing database, past data analysis and future data forecasts. Past data analysis and future data forecasts. That is what OLAP means. With this information, now OLTP live, OLAP forecast. Next, from there we have something else called data warehouse to store old historical data. To store old historical data, we have something called data warehouse. A mix of, for example, old data, COLD, cold data we call it. A mix of all these items, OLTP plus OLAP plus data warehouse together is equal to HTAP. Assume, for example, Google map. We see live data plus old historical information, right? And expected time of arrival, past navigations, old data and expected time of arrival. Everything together is called HTAP databases. That is hybrid transactional analytical databases. With this information, now where to store these databases? A database management system, DBMS software, OLTP plus warehouse plus OLAP, HTAP databases. Secured, easy to manage and free technical support with free BI. Okay, so now with this information, inside your SQL Server software, we store databases. Few databases will store the actual data in the form of tables and few other databases store in the form of something called cubes, CUBE cube. Together, so OLAP database, cube and tables together form one SQL Server environment like this. With this information, now what is MSBI? It is a set of components inside the SQL Server you see different components like integration services, analysis services, and reporting services. This entire box is SQL Server. Okay, the entire box is SQL Server. Inside SQL Server, we see these items. MSBI components have MSBI items. Database engine, mainly for the purpose of OLTP, live online transaction processing. And we have something called Python R, required for data scientists. So an SQL Server professional can have different kinds of profile options: data science, MSBI, database engine. We have something called Dev and DBA, etc. Now each of the components: database engine for OLTP databases like live cricket match, live temperature tracking, etc. Analysis services supports analysis databases. Here we go. For online analytical processing database. Next, integration services for design of databases for old historical data called warehouse data. And reporting services for end-to-end implementation of report design, storage, and access. Then machine learning. Okay, yes, so here we go. Machine learning for Python and R to implement machine learning for data scientist activities. Now, so what is MSBI here? A combination of 2, 3, 4 is what MSBI means. A set of tools to design data warehouse, OLAP, and reports. In simple terms, what is data warehouse? Let's see. A type of database used to store historical data. A type of database to store historical data. And here, yes, implemented using SQL Server integration services called SSIS. Implemented using SQL Server integration services. This one, first one. Same way we have other one, OLAP database. A type of database used to store, say, analytical data, analysis services, SSAS. Then we have something called as reports. Here it is. Say easy and colorful representation. Say representation of your data. Easy, colorful representation of your data. Implemented by using reporting services, SSRS. So we have SSIS, SSAS, and SSRS, 3 things. So MSBI includes 3 different components. Its other closest technology, Power BI, a set of tools. In Power BI, we have total of 7 different tools. Remember, in Power BI, we have total of 7 different tools. For what? For reporting activities. We have few tools for report design, few for data modeling, and few more for something like, for example, gateway for cloud refresh activities. 7 tools, 6 design tools, 1 gateway. That's why we say collection of tools to design the reports for cloud and your company's local data center report server. It's completely into reporting, Power BI. A set of tools. I said 7 different tools, 6 design tools, 1 data refresh tool, 7 tools. So as per our notes, set of tools to design reports for cloud and non-cloud. Here it is, cloud and non-cloud environments, a report server environment. With this information, let's understand some other additional technology called data engineering, responsible for data warehouse with something called ETL, extract, transform and load. So ETL and data warehouse concepts in cloud. MSBI does not involve any cloud. For cloud, we have Power BI for reporting, data engineering for data warehouse, and little bit of OLAP. Together, non-cloud and cloud together is equal to Azure BI. So Azure BI includes MSBI plus Azure Data Engineer plus Power BI. ETL in non-cloud plus ETL in cloud plus Power BI put together. ETL means extract, transform and load. With this information, now what we learn in our course, let's do it carefully. Yes, in our course we'll be understanding design of data warehouses. Here we learn ETL, extract, transform and load, and we learn the concept of something called packages, say ETL or SSIS packages, and also called as data load activities. OLAP, here we learn cubes, OLAP DB design. With respect to, we learn something called MDX, multi-dimensional language, DAX, data expression language, multi-dimensional and tabular mode databases. By heart these things carefully. Reports, here we learn design of reports and dashboards, an integration of all with one real-time project that includes the data warehouse SSIS plus SSAS plus SSRS, that is data warehouse plus OLAP plus reporting activities. So you can plan your resume carefully from here. So resume plan based on the project work, you'll go for the resume. Resume plan 1. It would be SSIS, data warehouse database, to SSAS, OLAP database, to SSRS reports. Whereas your resume plan B would be something like this. You'll learn all three, but focus on data warehouse to directly SSRS reports. Learn all three, you can focus only on the plan B, resume plan 2. For starter profiles, for experience profiles, prefer to have this one, resume plan 1. For experienced, whereas this is for starters. Okay, here for experience you also have SSRS as well as Power BI combination. Firstly IS to AS and RS. Here you have IS, AS, RS with Power BI. You can plan either of them carefully. Next, with this information, so what we are learning here, slowly understanding design. In our classes, we are going to slowly understand from the next class how to perform the design activities. Design of data warehouse, OLAP and reports, and integration of all. If your interviewer asks us what we did in the project, what are the challenges you face in the project, something like this. We would be working with a e-commerce database, a e-commerce domain, and the complete requirement, solutions, explanation, everything for our resume. If our interviewer asks us like what you did in the project, or what are the challenges you face in the project, or for example, what is your current job role, what are the common errors you generally faced in your project implementation on a routine day-to-day basis, kind of technology or technical, purely project and technical related questions we need to get into, possible with the project and the solution. Let's just recap once again. Let's recap once again. We started slowly with what is database, types of database, what is SQL server and what's there inside it, databases. Different components inside SQL server. I'll say SQL server components, MSBI components, database engine components, Python, R, etc. Purpose of each of these components. We are looking for the green item analysis, or I'll just put this way. I'll give a different color here to match with our lab plan. Yellow box mandatory to get into the purple box. Yes, database engine, SQL server, TSQL, basics are required, constraints, joins to get into MSBI components. And what we learn, design of warehouse, OLAP, reports. We learn to start from the scratch. We'll do it carefully. Then finally, go for integration of all three components with project. And then here is our lab plan. We'll work with various data sources, non-database data sources like text, Excel, CSV, TSV, so on, and database data sources like SQL database, Azure web app, social, so on. From here, data source, OLTP, We'll understand how to get this OLTP reports, OLTP database to reports. Then data warehouse database to reports, or analytical databases to reports. We'll understand these items carefully. Remember, a report can be generated from a non-database data source also. So we'll do all possible implementations with various kinds of data sources. So our main job responsibility: design of data warehouse, design of OLAP, design of report. In this process, we need to learn about ETL, something called MDX, DAX, etc. We'll be having concept-wise mock tests, day-wise session notes, concept-wise mock tests along with the solutions throughout the course for every module, IS, AS and RS. For every module, complete session notes, scenarios, interview questions, and the complete solutions part of the course. We'll do it slowly, step by step. So we are into box 5, MSBI. And box 1, constraints or joins, either of them recommended or mandatory. More we know on SQL, more better, but the queries and the concepts we should be aware of. We need not have any programming knowledge for MSBI or even Power BI or data engineer, either of these three. Queries, the concepts are important, like joins, constraints, relations, etc. You are aware of SQL Server, TSQL concepts and the queries, you may directly go for this MSBI. Or you want to recap SQL so that you don't miss anything, or you would like to learn from the scratch, then 1,5, either starters or looking for a recap kind of thing, a revision, brush up kind of thing, not to miss any architectural concepts. Planning for experience in your resume, then comes 156. SQL, MSBI and Power BI in this way. All three, one after the other. Or after SQL concepts, or we are aware of SQL, we can do 5 and 6 in parallel. 2 separate courses, 2 separate schedules. You may do in sequence or in parallel, or you may do plan upgrade. Initially plan B, then later upgrade to C as per your choice. The complete data flow here, relation between MSBI, Power BI. Power BI is a common reporting environment on top of the data warehouse we design in MSBI, or cubes we design with OLAP databases in MSBI. And nowadays we see most of the projects migration activities, like traditional SSRS reports to be migrated to Power BI. We'll take such examples anyway. So here are the components. This is the data, the actual lab plan diagram showing you a few minutes back. We'll take multiple different data sources, understand how to implement MSBI components. So here is the concepts list, the yellow box, SQL. If in case you are looking for any recap or revisit kind of thing, a refresher revision course, we'll go for integration services, analysis services and reporting services, with one common project with 3 different implementations, say 3 different modules in the project. for our end-to-end implementation. And here the SQL concepts that are included as a part of box 1 if you are looking for. The MSBI components complete 6 weeks journey, chapter wise course content, and Power BI. The 4 weeks course content, I was talking about 7 different tools and 2 hosting environments. And here is a lab plan. In your computer, we need to have SQL Server 2017 or higher. And we are going to configure these things one by one. And in one particular example, we'll take Azure data source as well. We are not into Azure. We need not have Azure account. You'll use our remote server, which is hosted on Azure with a username password for one of the examples in OLAP analysis and one more example in reporting services SSRS. Just to keep that keyword, just include the keyword in your resume. We'll take one example on AS, one for RS. So either live or on demand, the same content, same course, same examples and same mock test questions and project work. So you may opt for either live or on demand, or in case you attend live and for some reasons or time constraints you want to shift to video, or vice versa. For the remaining classes, we are flexible. Same content, same course plan. With this information, now make sure if you are going for MSBI straight, make sure you revise constraints, joins. Fine, enough. Those are the 2 major important concepts. To start with our lengthy course content for SSIS, packages, or AS, and incremental loads, reporting, etc. I need your support. Get the things carefully on SQL front to start with MSBI. So go straight with MSBI if you are aware of SQL. If not, start with SQL, then go for MSBI. Either of them as per your technical comfort.